Rio Park where we don't even have our community, our HOA meetings there at Creel Park because of the activities that go on there. So I apologize. We just
No, it's not an attack. I wanted it articulated because we have our police chief in the room. I'm very aware of what goes on in Creel Park. I was actually out there a couple of weeks ago at night and observed some things for myself.
Sure. But we and I apologize for cutting you off, but we try to keep them active. Thank you. We try to keep them active and mobile because we've had one or two in the past 4 years pass away without anyone knowing it. And it's not good. We need to keep tabs on them. And as president, me and my wife are probably the youngest two in the whole HOA or in the subdivision as far as home ownership. But they look to us for, that one little part of guidance and saying, we're going to do a weekend walk and talk. We pick up trash throughout the neighborhood. We watch out for each other. And that fence did a lot because our community was starting to dilapidate because people were throwing trash into that field. With that fence up, now they can't walk through and break glass and break into cars and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, there's a business or a daycare on one side, and I don't know what the business is on the opposite side, but it kind of makes sense to give her that opportunity.
So I know there's the Prime Care Learning Center is to the left of it.
Correct.
And then you actually do have to come down a ways to get to Bethsaida where the CVS is.
Correct.
So it's trees from this property until you get down to the CVS on Old National.
No, there's another 2 properties before you get to Bethsaida, or 3, maybe even 3 or 4. But I know that there's beyond the trees next to her on the right-hand side, there's a property, and that's in a zone of commercial. And then there's trees, and then there's a house on the corner.
Are you talking about across the street?
No, ma'am. I'm talking about on the same side.
It's not showing on the map. Okay. I'll go take, I'll drive. I mean, I live in Woodward Estate, so I can go take another look.
And I would like to invite our council member and our mayor back to our next meeting on the 18th.
I don't know if I'll be back in town.
The state of the city, but my chief of staff will give you his card.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to come, but I think the 8th, I'm not what. Let's talk.
I just want you to see the energy that this possibility brings to our community. That they perk up and they're like, well, when is it coming? They want to be a part of it. So with that said, I hope you guys vote yes.
I mean, I'll meet you outside so we can talk about me coming to the HOA meeting because I'm not sure what time my plane lands on the 18th, so I may not can make the 18th, but we'll talk about that outside.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I yield.
The chair recognizes Dr. Rao. Okay. All right. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Gums.
Cool.
My question is, and I may have missed it, what is the capacity for her adult daycare facility? And is she currently operating one or no? I don't know if you're going to tell it. Okay.
I take the second question first. Nothing is being operational at this center since I purchased it in 2015 because I'm waiting for everything to go in sequence. And the second question is 50 because it has a capacity of even up to 75 because the way it's going to be rebuilt L-shape. And that's to answer your question. And to say, do I have an opportunity to talk about 2 points that was brought up by council member, or do you not want me to say anything?
Well,
I'll keep quiet.
Well, I'll give you one.
Okay.
I'll let you respond.
Sure. Sure.
So, and is handicap accessible and things of that nature?
When it starts, because it's a good thing we're talking about this. This is the City of South Fulton approval. In the state of Georgia, when you do adult daycare center, it's done by Department of Human Services. We're talking about application twice a year, March, which is when I got the approval, the tentative approval. The next application is November. It takes about a year and a half. It's not something you just go on and pop up. Mm-hmm. They're going to come there. The fire department is going to come there. They're going to talk about the ramp. So before you see something really operational there, it will take about 18 months. I ran the largest daycare in state of Georgia. Benson Center is in Sandy Spring. We have more than 100 participants.
Okay.
And to address the idea that they will come here and pay as opposed to going over there, no, there's no payment. There's no difference in payment because these are senior citizens. So it's their program that is paying. It's not them paying me money.
Okay.
And Bowden Center, I opened up too. And that one is the same program, the same system because it's adult day program.
Okay. And while you have the mic, go ahead and respond really quick. Mm-hmm. Did you say you wanted to respond to something?
Oh, I was just responding to the fact that where I heard, will the residents of Tauntonwood choose to come and pay for me instead of going to the one that I know about? There's no payment difference. And as you all will know, if you have something in front of you, you would like to walk over there as opposed to going. And if you know what is happening in Old National, within a month, there have been 5 motor vehicular accidental casualties. 3 just happened less than a month ago in one spot. So we're talking about a busy corridor. Okay. So I'm not competing with anybody. We are all here to build the community.
Understood. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is the question and answer part, so I think that we're done with that. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item. We have 2 more cases.
That brings us to case number 12, case Z24-007, application by Angela Rosser, requesting a rezoning from AG1 zoning district to ONI zoning district at 7955 and 7965 Spence Road and 5385 Harris Road to develop and operate a children's daycare center on 3.71 acres. This is located in District 7. Staff recommendation is denial. Planning Commission recommendation is approval.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This is case number Z24007. This is a request to rezone from AG1 to office industrial at 7955 and 7965 Spence Road and 5385 Harris Road to develop and operate a children's daycare center. This is in Council District 7. It's 3.71 acres. Staff has recommended denial. Planning Commission has recommended approval. Planning Commission has recommended approval conditional, I should say, and there are a number of conditions that are included in the staff report that you have in front of you. Staff is also aware of applicants' request to amend the future land use designation from suburban neighborhood to commercial center. However, staff's recommendation is based on the current land use designation.
All right, we have speakers for and against. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir. We have the applicant, Mr. William Deal. And we have, I believe, 3 Speakers in opposition, Joe Johnson, Alvin Reynolds, and Michael Venable.
All right. Come forward, state your name. You have 10 minutes. You may want to reserve some of the balance of your time, not only for people who also want to speak in support, but for rebuttal. Your clock starts now.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is William Deal with the law firm Smith, Gambrell, and Russell, 1105 West Peachtree Street, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here tonight. I have the privilege of representing Miss Angela Rosser, who's here in attendance with me. Miss Rosser currently operates the Tree of Life child care and preschool facility that is currently operating in nearby Fayette County, nearby to this particular property. They're expanding. They've grown their business, have a great reputation with the families there, and are looking to expand. And this facility is a property that they've identified as somewhere they want to be in the city of South Fulton. And so this is kind of, I guess, unfortunately, the rare opportunity where you have both the applicant, who is the developer, and then will ultimately be the operator of this facility. So Ms. Rosser is here as your community partner going forward if you do approve this, and we hope that you will. I have a presentation. I see that it's up. The property that we're working with is a assemblage of 3 parcels, the intersection of Spence Road and Harris Road. It's about 3.7 acres. It is currently vacant. There are 3 older structures. Those are vacant, and many of them kind of fallen into disrepair. Current zoning is AG1. We are asking for an office and institutional zoning that would allow for the child care facility. So you can see the uses surrounding this property. And I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk, can we go back to the last slide? You can see the uses surrounding this property. You can just tell from the aerial. There are a couple of different uses, much more intensive residential uses immediately to the north along Spence Road. That's an apartment complex within the city of South Fulton. Farther up on Spence Road, farther north, I should say, is the Renaissance Townhome development. That's a fairly new residential development. You'll see with the zoning map, that is zoned MXI, mixed use designation. I want to point out, because this will come up as we talk about the comp plan, there's a parcel at the intersection of Oakley Industrial and Spence Road. That is the Chevron gas station and convenience store. That is located within the character area. Actually, it's a Suburban 1 character area and is zoned MXI. It's an allowed use because it's within the MXI zoning district. I want to point that out again because as we talk about the comprehensive plan, I think it's important to note that. Across the street from us is the US Foods facility. I do want to point out that, and this was intentional from our perspective, the actual truck facility, the entrance there is before our property. And so it was important to Ms. Rosser as she looked at these properties that we don't have truck traffic immediately in front. All of the truck traffic from US Foods, going to US Foods, turns to the left there. The traffic that comes in directly adjacent from Harris Road is all commuter cars, people that work at the US Foods facility. If we could go to the next slide. You can see these are the zoning districts. US Foods is actually located in the city of Fairburn. Fairburn is also behind us as well. So this is kind of just a sliver of South Fulton. And you can see, again, much more higher density residential uses in that MXI zoning district that I mentioned previously. You can go to the next slide. Here is our site plan, and a couple of things I want to show here in particular. One is that we've incorporated as much as we could existing landscape to make sure that there is a tree buffer and that we're preserving as much as possible the existing tree cover on this property. So we do have a substantial amount of buffer here that's built in. This is from the higher density apartment complex that's immediately adjacent to this property. That will help increase any kind of mixes of use or any issue that we have with those uses, although I really see it as a compatible use being as a daycare center. But that is built in within the plan. From Spence Road, we have a right in, right out only entrance and exit. It's important because it'll make sure that we are circulating cars, that we have adequate stacking, and we do to make sure that cars are coming in and out and we're not backing up into Spence Road. Cars looking to go left on the Spence Road can use an access point through Harris Road. And so that should kind of provide any relief from traffic that comes in and is trying to make a left on Spence Road. The building is approximately 5,000 square feet, and so ultimately we have about 5 classrooms that will be in there. It also includes 2 different playground facilities, and so we're looking at really a fairly large and what will ultimately be a good contribution to the inventory for child daycare centers in this area. Again, Miss Rosser is here. She's experienced. She's currently operating a business that is expanding and looking to come into the city. And so she, not only are we providing a service that is needed, but we're providing a business that's established and that's experienced in this. If we could go to the next slide. I mention that because if we look at daycare facilities that are in the city of South Fulton, you'll notice that there really are very few in this area. So the closest in the city of South Fulton is, if I can see that far, is about 2.8 miles. And there is another about 3.37 miles. Those are within the city. City of Fairburn has a facility that's the same, about 2.5 miles. That's it as far as the offering that's there. This is a need that we can fill. And again, we're filling it with an experienced operator. Now, to speak to the comprehensive plan. So we are currently in the Suburban 2 character area. The Suburban 2 character area lists a couple of different zoning districts. The OI zoning district is not within those listed zoning districts. But I don't think that's really the end of the story, and I don't think the comprehensive plan was meant to preclude this particular type of use. And you can see that if we read into the comprehensive plan states, and this is verbatim from the plan, other types of development allowed in the suburban neighborhood character areas include civic uses such as schools, places of worship, community centers, and facilities, other public facilities. We are proposing a school, we are proposing a use that is in spirit with that. The comprehensive plan clearly intended to allow for these particular types of use. It just doesn't identify the O and I zoning district. And what I think is kind of unique with that is that we've got, I mentioned the chevron that is MXI zoned. MXI is allowed even in the comprehensive, in the suburban neighborhood 1 as an allowed use. So I think it's an unintended consequence that the comp plan as it's written, if we strictly just apply the letters that are on the comp plan, it allows the chevron that has a convenience store and a gas station, but it does not allow this particular use, even though it identifies schools as being appropriate here. And it's notable that no school could be, no school use fits within the particular zoning districts that are identified. So you have your comp plan identifying particular uses, but the zoning districts in your comp plan don't match the uses that it's actually saying that we want in this area. And so for that reason, we asked for a comprehensive plan amendment, and that was a discussion that we had with staff. Notably, we could have asked for a townhouse zoning district that allows a daycare facility by special use. So we could have asked to rezone to townhouse, have a special use for a daycare facility. But then we would have also had to ask for a bunch of other variants. So the conversation is what is really more honest with the people when we present this application. And we felt like going to an O&I zoning district was more appropriate. I'll reserve what little bit of time I have for rebuttal.
Is there another speaker in support? All right. Those in opposition may come forth. As you know, state your name. Share your 10 minutes.
Jewel Johnson, Michael Venable, and Alvin Reynolds.
Good afternoon. It's almost the next day. 4660 Orkney Lane, District 1, Jewel Johnson. I am here because I have gone through all these zonings that we're doing tonight. And the only one that I had pulled out, because I wanted to talk about all of them, because for 6 years, I have been asking that we amend our land use and zoning. I've asked that for many times. Here we come tonight with the same problem I knew we were going to have. We cannot keep functioning like this. This has been a total disaster because all we had to do was work together. With these people coming tonight with number 12 and want to rezone all of this, I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. And one of the things that really grabs me, see, I've had classes in GIS land use planning. And I've sit here tonight and only heard stuff that just made me want to cringe. This is our city. You cannot run a city without the people. We must do this with the people. We need to amend that with the people. When you do that, the people learn, we get things done, and we can move faster with these type cases. And one thing that really stuck in my craw tonight, when we have people that comes in and more or less say everybody have a right to, do what they want to do with their property. Yes, by law, to a certain degree. They have a right to do that as long as it's not infringing upon anybody else negatively, especially the people that's closer to them. But when it comes to doing something to everybody broad, tell them bring it. Fulton County did it for us. Yes, they did. They sued Fulton County. It took that judge 6 months to rule. But when she ruled for Fulton County because that case, and you can go and look it up, that case they was not going to just hurt the people closest to it, but most of the people in the district. So don't be afraid of a lawsuit, especially when you know that you are right and that you are doing the people's job, because that's what we ask for you to do. So I'm asking you all humbly to please, let's amend this land use and zoning with the people. You will understand that all of this would be gone. We wouldn't have this. And then one last thing, because I want the guys to come up. I've worked with a lot of people in this community and Old National community. And when people come before you and they talk to you about what they know and what they've done, they bring factual things to you. I don't bring you nothing but facts. And it's okay if you throw your head off and roll your eyes. That's all right, because I'm still going to love you. And I'm still going to come bring things to you. It doesn't matter. These people that come to you and tell you, I know for a fact, they know what they're talking about. I've worked with them. They are civil engineers. Some of them are regular engineers. They know just as much as any of you sitting here or more when it comes to GIS land use, planning and zoning. They know it. They've lived it just like I have. And it really doesn't matter if you don't care, but you should care about the majority. That's all we're asking for. And I've been asking for this for 6 years. 6 long years. And nobody has listened. But it's all right. God still have me on my feet. God is going to take me where I need to be to make sure everything comes out the way it needs to come out. Thank you.
Michael Venable, 5720 Montilly Circle. I guess since I'm going to repeat what I've said all night, I guess I'll be posturing again. These exceptions have now become the rule. We have come here and changing land use plan through this zoning process instead of going through the process that we should be going through. That's just the facts of it. Secondarily, we're actually going to try to put a daycare center across the street from an industrial zoning and beside a gas station. Just going to let y'all make the decision. Those are my 2 points.
How y'all doing? Alvin Reynolds, 585 Kings Place, Riverdale, Georgia. Reside in District 7. I do concur. A daycare, it was alarming to me that the daycare was being placed right across the street from U.S. Foods, where you have a lot of truck traffic. Although it's across the street, you know, my main concern was the revamping of the land use plan. But listen to commentary tonight, I don't really know where we're going to go with that. Staff recommendation is denial because of the land use. It doesn't fit. You know, some cases staff recommend approval and it don't fit. Just a stickler for things that are on the books, things that are in place. It's not to hurt, harm, or do it be ingenuous to anyone. I mean, if there's processes in place, let's follow them. I mean, you know, if not, let's get them in place so that we can get better at what we do. Not against the daycare. It's just simply about the process that we're going through to change the land use. This is something that we've talked about quite often, that everyone knows it needs to be done. It's just a matter of when we're going to do it, so that we can probably not be here talking about it tonight with these type of cases. But again, you know, it's your decision. It's up to you how we're going to do it. I will continue to come before you as often as I can, and God give me strength to do so where I'm concerned about certain things. Someone has to be objective. You know, you can't just look at something and it's all grand and great. There is another side to everything. But again, this particular case, my concern was that it was across the street from a U.S. food or manufacturing, and the traffic. When you talk about daycare and kids, I think it stated that there will be toddlers up to 12. There's some traffic there. And I know that the trucks come in only on, they take a left going into U.S. food, they take a right coming out, but there are times where trucks do come up Spence Road. So it's not just that they're utilizing that particular roadway. And that was a grave concern. I don't know how far back they plan on building. I didn't see planning and zoning's recommendations as what you guys have. I don't know if they want to implement decel lanes, what type of buffers they want to put there, whatever, what type of safety mechanisms they want to have in place and so forth. But that was one of my concerns, and the other one, the major one, was again how we choose to use our comprehensive land use plan and our maps. Thank you.
I want to speak first to the U.S. Foods Distribution Center. Again, the truck access has to be before our property. Trucks have to enter that facility before our actual parcel begins. That's actually adjacent from the apartment complex entrance. That is where trucks have to turn in. The entrance that is directly across from our facility actually has the kind of height restrictions that you might see like at a parking garage. So trucks cannot enter that facility. They will run into that height restriction. And that was intentional, and that was one of the reasons that my client was looking at this property. Speaking to the comprehensive plan, I don't believe that we're inconsistent with a comprehensive plan. And I had the discussion with staff, and ultimately staff asked us to request an amendment. But your comprehensive plan again states that types of developments such as schools, places of worship, community centers, other types of public facilities like that are permitted in this zoning district. And that's exactly what we're proposing. I think that when we apply just kind of blanketly the zoning districts that are there, we're misconstruing, we're missing the more important policy question that's here and laid out in the comprehensive plan. And I'd note that if we were just looking at the zoning districts that were in the comprehensive plan, that we wouldn't have public meetings like this. We just check the box. But this is a policy question. It's a policy decision. And that's why we're here tonight, and that's why we're presenting these to you. So respectfully ask that you approve the application.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and start our questions and comments with the district representative, Councilwoman Pritchett.
Thank you once again for acknowledging me. I'm very well acquainted where this is situated, and as the attorney indicated, the entrance across the street from the Harris Road portion, it's an entrance that that's an employee entrance where they drive in to U.S. Foods, not where the trucks go in. Now, I guess this is a question maybe for you, Mr. Attorney. Harris Road has been like, residents have asked me to drive down Harris Road, and I'm mad that I did because it is like, I mean, the potholes are like 4 feet deep, and it's basically, I don't even know how they pick up, collect sanitation there. It's really horrible. So what in the construction process will you all be doing as related to Harris Road?
Right. So we will just have the exit to the left-hand turn there on Harris Road. It is, you mentioned, it is actually gravel a bit farther behind our parcel. And gravel is, as you mentioned, kind of generous there. But we are right at that intersection, and the intersection is in, sorry, I don't know if I did that, but the intersection is in good working condition. We're certainly willing to talk to you and talk to the rest of council about some kind of conditions that we could put on for Harris Road. That might be something in order. But I certainly agree. It's a tough road, particularly behind our parcel. But we really only intend it to be the left-hand turn onto Spence Road. But certainly willing to talk about conditions.
I would love to see Harris Road, the Harris Road issue nightmare,
Sure.
Be resolved if there could be some improvement done or a coordination of improvement done to Harris Road, because it's really horrible. And in addition to that, on Harris Road, there's a lot of illegal dumping that happens back there. Mm-hmm. So if that's something that was ignored, you would have illegal dumping going on, abutting this property. So I would be very interested in seeing something done or looked at.
Certainly, and we will look at that. I think having an existing business is going to solve a large piece of that problem because we actually have eyes on the property. A lot of that tends to happen when you have vacant property, but heard and understood, and we'll take a look at how we can accommodate that.
Now, also, since you're having a 5,000 square foot building facility, will there also be outdoor activity area for the children?
There are two fairly large outdoor facilities that are built within the plan, and you can see that in the site plan. One is reserved for smaller children, and then there's a larger facility for older children. But yes, there are outdoor facilities that will be fenced, and we'll have traditional playground equipment.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you.
I've heard from one of the public comments that was made that a gas station is right next to it. I want to clarify that that is not true. The gas station actually is on Spence Road on the other side of Oakley Industrial. It is not on the same side of the road as this proposed facility, so that is not true. You have two apartment complexes that are side by side. One is in South Fulton, one is in the city of Fairburn. So, and then across the street on the side of the Shell gas station is Renaissance Community. This is what you call density. This is high density. So I do see the density support, this facility supporting the density that is already present. From the apartment complexes, one is a little higher in scale to the one that's in South Fulton that's very super low income. So just to put it in perspective, I do see the need for this type of facility, and I have heard from residents that live in the Fife community who'd like to see this. So I'm very interested in seeing how this would help from an economic development standpoint / community need for daycare and somewhere that people can drop their children off that is in very, very close proximity, walking proximity. And there are sidewalks here already. I'm not sure. Yeah, there are sidewalks there. So, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing and hearing none. Thank you so much. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Brings us to item 13, text amendments, case TA 23-002, consideration of ordinance to amend Article 2 and Article 3 of the South Fulton zoning ordinance for the purpose of adding regulations related to event centers and banquet halls, and to allow event centers and banquet halls in agricultural zoning district. Staff recommendation is approval. Planning Commission recommendation is no recommendation.
This is a city-initiated text amendment. Staff recommendation is approval. Planning Commission could not come to a recommendation.
I love these. This is all new language tonight. Speakers for and against, sir.
Did not receive any comments in support or opposition to this application.
All right. I'll go to questions from council. I don't see anyone in the queue. All right, Mr. Clerk, please sound the last zoning item.
Actually, we have two zoning items and one alcohol license.
I thought 14, 15, and 16
No, only 16.
Oh, okay. I thought we had deferred those.
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Next case is case number 14, case TA 23-003, consideration of ordinance to amend section 304.03 food trucks of the City of South Fulton zoning ordinance to revise the regulations related to food truck permits. Staff recommendation is approval. Planning Commission recommendation is approval.
Thank you. This ordinance was sponsored by Council Member Pritchett. Staff recommendation approval. Planning Commission recommendation is approval.
All right. Any speakers for or against?
I have two speakers in opposition. Alvin Reynolds, Michael Venable. No speakers in support.
All right. We'll open the public hearing. You have 10 minutes. Please be advised you don't have to use all of that time, and please be cognizant you want to share that time with your co-opponent.
Again, Alvin Reynolds, 585 Kings Place, Riverdale, Georgia, 30296, reside in District 7. At the Planning Commission meeting, there was, I basically asked for some clarity on this particular text amendment. and hearing what was stated, is bringing this ordinance in line with, I guess, state policy. I believe that's what the words that were used. But again, let me just say it like this. I attended a function last weekend where there were a variety of food trucks, and they had their license posted, which was great. But what I didn't see from a health department perspective was their posting of their health scores. And I would love to see that maybe added to this text amendment, if possible, because it reassures people that these trucks are clean and sanitized from the health department, from a health perspective, and they, will feel comfortable in servicing these particular truck items. But again, that was one of the things that I just wanted to bring before council. Thank you.
Michael Venable, 5720 Montelli Circle. Realizing that this may be a law, the state dropped the ball big time on this. Let me tell you what this is going to do. I'm going to go get a truck out of Chatham County or Dougherty County, and I'm going to drive up here and sit up here, since there's no time limit, for 3 or 4 months. I got bad food. You're going to call Fulton County. They said, well, you got to go back to the county of origin. You actually think somebody is going to drive all the way from those counties to South Fulton to investigate it? All they're going to do is cook the books with this. Fulton County has a top-notch health department. Some of these other jurisdictions don't. We're messing ourselves up. But hey, you're going to have to follow, I guess, whatever the state did and whatever came forward, that I guess you got to follow the rule in here. Just making a comment. We're in trouble. This was messed up.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Pritchett.
Thank you again. So, I thought that this was important for us as a city to come in compliance with state law because it just makes sense. If we continue, currently the policy that we have, the policy that we have related to food trucks was that the food trucks, first of all, in order for them to get their licensing, they have to go through the Department of Health. All the departments of health are regulated by the state, and they have state mandates and they have their state codes. Then in our city, if a food truck wanted to participate in Juneteenth, they would have to purchase a permit for Juneteenth. Then if they wanted to participate in an event that Councilwoman Bell had just the other day, recently, the Easter egg hunt, they would have to purchase a separate permit for that. So on each occasion, they would have to purchase a permit and go through the paperwork process and everything. I think that we need to operate as a smart city and not a redundant city, and also a city that complies with state law. By forcing people to purchase permits each and every time, we are creating a hardship and a burden that puts us in a precarious situation of liability, as you can say, because everyone else wants to follow state law except for the city of South Fulton. And that's not the case because we want to follow state law. So we just want to come in compliance. Now, I also heard at the planning meeting, it was said that there is something about this stinks to high heaven. This sounds like a backroom deal. This sounds like people will bring their trucks from wherever or whoever. And, I understand the concern that people have of businesses getting over on people. However, it doesn't even make sense for somebody to drive for Chatham County, which is what, 4 hours, Councilwoman Willis, to sell chicken wings up here and make, a $200-300 profit, and then go back and use that money to go back to Chatham County and, come to the big city and make the big money to put in the gas tank. Some things from a business perspective don't make sense and just aren't really happening. Now, to the concern of the residents about the food being, knowing whether or not there are safety measures being taken. When I did attend Councilwoman Bell's Easter egg hunt, what I did see was the fire marshal inspecting each and every food truck that was there. There was a food truck that had a propane tank and also had a generator, and they had it on the back of a truck, and the way that it was all situated was wrong, and they made them change it. They inspect for every license, they do visual inspections, and there are certain things that they are trained to do related to food service where these inspections are happening. And I saw it. I don't think he noticed that I was paying attention, but no one was selling food until those requirements were met. So when we're in a situation where we just want to come in compliance with state law, it is no backroom deal. It is no one benefiting other than the public, so that we can just be in compliance. I yield.
Anyone else? All right. Oh, I see the cue now. The chair recognizes Dr. Rao.
My understanding of the ordinance is that, and it's been a while since this was written, and this might be a question for the city attorney, because I think the city attorney's office wrote this one. But my understanding is that food trucks can travel anywhere in the city that they want to travel. Of course, wherever they park, they will have to have an agreement with whoever owns that property to be able to park their food truck there. And then there are rules to be able to park that food truck on public property. But they will be able to operate out of those commercial areas if allowed to do so, is my understanding.
His recollection is correct. According to the present version, there's no restrictions as it relates to the parking of food trucks at existing brick and mortar establishments.
If
brick and mortar. So I don't know what we need to do to get that language together, but I think that's a very dangerous thing to do. So before we have to vote on this, I would ask that you find some language to protect those who are paying for commercial space so they're not going up against and competing with food trucks.
All right, Councilman Willis.
It's 9:18, and I don't want to belabor this, but I do agree with my colleague. We don't vote on this until the next council meeting, so we got time to work this out. We don't have to solve all our problems in one night. And if anybody has a problem with state law, you need to go talk to your state legislators. They're all on the ballot this year. You preaching to the choir, coming to the council talking about a state law. We don't legislate in the General Assembly. We legislate municipal law. Thank you.
All right, before we move on, I do want to ask a clarifying question. I do remember seeing a food truck ordinance at some point where if someone wanted to have a food truck, they had to get permission from like everyone in the shopping center. There was an iteration of that at some point. I'm going to yield to Councilwoman Pritchard. Was this like overridden by the state law? Is this like an issue of preemption or?
So, number one, just to make this clear, all food trucks operate from a kitchen. So there is always a main restaurant that they're operating out of. That's number one. But number two, maybe I didn't make this clear when we were drafting this. What brings us in compliance with state law is the fact that you don't need a separate licensing process from the city for them to be able to operate. Once they receive their license from the county, then they're good. However, in our previous food truck ordinance, it did speak about not being within a certain footage to an actual restaurant. So I wasn't amended. I would like that to remain included so that there is no competition and unless there's a shopping plaza where everyone agrees because it's a different type of food being sold. Because the same thing happens even in the Tri-County Plaza where we've had food trucks and it really didn't compete with the brick and mortar that was there, but I am not opposed to making that clear how the previous ordinance defined it. What we were amending was the licensing process to come in compliance with the state law on licensing. All the other stuff is fine to keep as is, so I can work with Attorney Hyman or Attorney McClendon on making sure that we have it comprehensively. This is just an amendment for the licensing part, if that makes sense.
Yes, I think we have some research and workshopping to do, but thank you. Thank you, everyone. I will go ahead, Mr. Clerk, and sound the next item.
That brings us to zoning modifications, case M24-001, application by Safari Home Builders, LLC, for property located at 5174 Camilton Road, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30331, requesting a modification in a CUP, Community Unit Plan, to modify zoning conditions approved under petition number 1999Z-070 for the purpose of constructing a new wireless telecommunications support structure. It's located in District 1.
All right, thank you. This is case M24001 for 5174 Campbellton Road. This is a modification requesting a cellular transmission tower on property in the CUP Community Unit Plan Sandtown Overlay Zoning District. This is a zoning modification by way of explanation because we do not see these very often. A zoning modification is a request for a modification of zoning conditions. So this is when an applicant is requesting to modify conditions of a previous zoning case that was approved with conditions, and now they want to come back and modify those previously approved conditions. So this case was approved originally in 1999. The case number was 1999Z 070 approved in Fulton County, and it had a specific condition, condition 1A. In that condition, required that it restricted the use of the property to single-family detached dwellings and accessory uses and structures. Staff has interpreted that to mean that a cellular telecommunication tower would not be permitted under that condition, so they are asking to modify that condition to allow that cellular tower. The case was further modified in 2005, zoning modification 074, which changed the site plan of the CUP. Staff's recommendation for this modification is denial, and our basis for our recommendation is in your staff report. We will offer more explanation, of course, if requested, but the applicant is here.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and open a public hearing. I think you all know how this goes. 10 minutes. State your name and address.
May I hand out something before
Yes.
I had to.
I got it. All right, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. My name's Andy Rotenstrike. I'm with Baker Donaldson Law Firm. Our Atlanta address is 3414 Peachtree Road Northeast, Suite 1500. I'm here on behalf of Crown Castle, which is a company that builds and owns cell towers. We're here on behalf of Safari Home Buyers, who owns this property. Crown Castle currently has an existing cell tower at A. Philip Randolph School. That tower has been there 25 years. T-Mobile is the tenant on that tower, and they're the only tenant because there's no more room on that tower for any other carrier. The lease with the school board expired in 2019. So Crown Castle's tower is still there. The school board's still accepting rent. We're paying 150% of what the rent would normally be, and that tower can be told to come down any day now. So what we're trying to do is replace the existing tower at A. Philip Randolph School with another tower about 1,700 feet away on private property. This tower, as proposed, is going to be 150 foot tall. The existing tower now is about 150 feet as well, I think. We're actually proposing it to be a fake pine tree, so we're meeting your ordinance by camouflaging it. It is going to be in the middle of a wooded parcel. And we're also meet every other aspect of your ordinance with regard to cellular towers. We meet setbacks, we meet height restrictions. Towers are allowed in an R3 zone, which is what this is, because it's camouflaged. So this would be an administrative review, but for this CUP that was put in place 26 years ago, or 25 years ago. In 1999, some developers approached Fulton County and said, we'd like to build a subdivision on this and properties next to it. So they had a plan developed, they had the CUP adopted, but the subdivision was never built. In 2005, they came back and says, well, we want to make it a little smaller. Again, since 2005, nothing has been done with regards to that CUP. So the intent of the CUP is basically out. But in that CUP and the plan that Fulton County approved, it limited that CUP to houses only. There's a house on the property now, but there's only one house, and it's a rental house. So we are proposing to place this tower on that property behind the house. And the whole reason for this is to keep the coverage for T-Mobile in that area, serving those citizens and travelers and businesses. The tower that we are proposing to replace with will also be built strong enough to accommodate Verizon and AT&T. The existing tower cannot accommodate those. So by approving this one tower as a replacement, the other tower will come down. There'll be one tower there that can hold all three carriers, so you don't need three towers, one for each carrier. So that's what we're proposing. First thing we do when we need to build a new tower is we look for existing structures, right, if we need to keep the signal. But there was no other tower within 1.5 miles of where we're looking to go. So the only option is to build a new structure, which is what we're proposing. Now, if you look at the handouts I handed out to you, let me just kind of give you a sense of what we're proposing here. The first page is a site plan. The black outline, the rectangle, is the parcel we're talking about. The yellow I highlighted is an access road that once per month will be used to access the site to just make sure everything's operating properly. The red square is the only space that Crown Castle will have access to on this property. That is what Crown is leasing. It's 100 feet by 100 feet, not much bigger than this room. This is a 6-acre parcel. So we're only looking to occupy 100 feet by 100 feet, which is room for the tower and room for the equipment for T-Mobile, and then the other carriers if and when they need to get on this tower. If you turn the page, this is an elevation view of what we're proposing. We're not proposing the big tower with the guide wires. We're not doing the big three-legged lattice tower. It's a single pole design, and you can see a faint drawing on there, but I'll show you later that we're going to make it look like a pine tree. If you turn the page, this gets into the coverage for T-Mobile. If you look in the middle, you see a blue circle with a bunch of yellow in the middle. This is what happens if the T-Mobile coverage goes away. What you're striving for here is the green. If you notice these other blue circles or colored circles around the edges, those are existing T-Mobile sites in and around South Fulton. The green coverage is the in-building coverage, which is what we're trying to achieve. There is very little, if any, green coverage in the middle. If you turn the page, that's the same map with this site turned on, and you see all of the housing and residential areas and businesses along Campbellton Road are now covered with good, solid coverage for people working from home, schooling from home, and traveling through that area. If you turn the page and look at the photographs, these are examples of pine trees, what we call monopines instead of monopoles. And so you get an idea of what we're looking to do. We're looking to spend the extra money to camouflage this as much as possible so that we can meet your ordinance. The next page is an aerial view, which just shows the existing tower right now at A. Philip Randolph down the lower left, and 1,700 feet away where the proposed tower is going on that wooded lot. Now, this is not a new situation in South Fulton. If you look at this next handout that's stapled together, there's an existing tower at Westlake High School. It is 190 feet tall. We're proposing 150. And if you flip through those pages, you can see how that tower is shaped. It's not camouflaged. It's just a straight pole design. And you can see where it's located in relation to the subdivision right across the street. There's been some concerns raised about the location being near houses. So you have an example of that at Westlake High School. The next handout is a tower at Bethel United Methodist Church. It's 160 feet tall. And I provided you some aerial views of the location of the tower near residences for that tower. So this is not a new situation having towers next to homes anywhere in Georgia or anywhere here in South Fulton. So all we're asking here, we're not asking to rezone anything. We're not asking to change the CUP except to just take the one restriction off for this one parcel to allow the cell tower, which will not, as the staff report indicates, disrupt the intent. The intent of the CUP was to put houses there. You can still put houses. This parcel is 6 acres. We're taking up 100 feet by 100 feet. There's room for the house that's there, and there's room for multiple more houses to go on this same parcel. So the intent of the ordinance, the intent of the CUP is not changed. There's been questions. We had attended 5 neighborhood and HOA meetings, 5 of them. Most in attendance wanted to keep the tower, or keep the coverage at least, because they don't want to lose coverage. If they're T-Mobile customers and if they're Verizon and AT&T customers, they want to get better coverage, just like we have in other parts of Metro Atlanta. However, there were a few concerns, mainly some health effects. I'll let your city attorney tell you what the federal law is on that. But this tower at A. Philip Randolph has been there 25 years. This tower has got T-Mobile on it, and they've been broadcasting for 25 years. There are over 200,000 towers across the U.S. right now, and more are coming every day. And I have some FCC and FDA handouts with me if folks in the public want to see that. I made those available at the neighborhood meetings. They're concerned about the aesthetics. Again, we're trying to camouflage it as much as we can by following your ordinance. We're doing everything we can to be reasonable in what we're proposing. The last issue was property values. There are no negative impacts to property values. There are 3, we have, not only just looked around the country, but I have property valuation reports that I can leave and put in the record that are done in Georgia. 1 in the city of Powder Springs, 1 in Perry County, and 1 in Coweta County, where a certified appraiser went out and looked at the sale prices of homes around cell towers, compared them to the sale prices of homes that were further away from cell towers, and there was no change, therefore no diminution in value. So I submit these for the record as well. I've talked about the staff recommendation. Again, the original owner no longer owns this property. There are multiple owners for all these parcels. A residence is already on the property, and there's plenty of room for additional residences under the CUP requirements if needed. So with that, I'll stop, save what little time I have, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer.
All right. Thank you. Are there any speakers against? Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Just want to note for the record, previously I emailed to you all submitted comments in opposition, so you should have those. But we do have one person that is here this evening that wishes to register a comment in opposition. Ms. Brenda Brown.
All right. Please come forward, Ms. Brown. You have 10 minutes. Please be advised you don't have to use the entire 10 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. I am one of the residents that live very close to this location at 5174. I'm 2 houses away. This appears to be a precedent-setting modification. From what the gentleman just mentioned, most of these towers are being located on either public land or churches. My concern is placing that right at the roundabout. If you're not familiar with the location, it's right at the roundabout that you just created. It's going to be on private land. Didn't get a chance to really see the location because he handed out documents to you all, but he didn't show it to the audience. Still don't know where the tower would actually be located. Even though that's a 6-acre piece of land, it is essentially right at, it's abuts the same school property that he's trying to move from. Okay, the tower that he mentioned's been there 25 years. He's basically moving next door to. I don't understand why we would want additional modifications to private property for cell phone towers. And every location that he mentioned has been at school, church, and not in someone's backyard. They've communicated by way of letter. Quite a few of those meetings were tabled or didn't happen. Zoom calls didn't occur as well. I'm not sure if this was a meeting that was originally scheduled last month, I believe, and that was tabled. So you've lost the dynamic of a lot of the community being here tonight, because that's sort of been tabled and tabled and tabled. But I'm certain that people have, I hope that they have, registered their concern about it, whether it's health related, whether it's just don't want that within a private property. My concern is with the private property, because to me, that's the dynamic that you'll see replicated over and over. We've had people come up here tonight talking about people changing, modifying the zoning of their property to make a profit. This to me is in that same vein. Okay. T-Mobile is not going to let you go without service people. They are not going to lose your dollars. He will find another location if he does not get this one tonight. So please keep that in mind and be mindful of the door that you're opening when you do this and put this modification in place on private property. Thank you.
All right, you do have 32 seconds for rebuttal, sir.
Thank you. As far as precedent setting, this is for this CUP only and for this property only and for this use only. All we're asking is that you allow this one use on this parcel for this CUP. The documents I gave to you are the same that I showed at all the neighborhood meetings and the HOA meetings I attended, and they've been on file with the application for months. The towers on private property, most of them are on private property. That's where towers go. They have to go where the coverage is needed. We can't just move this down the street because that shifts the whole coverage. And so it then takes away coverage from the areas that we're trying to meet. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer.
All right, thank you. I'm going to open up with the district representative. If I could, just for a point of clarity before I allow you to speak. I have been working with developers on deals across the city, and I can verify there is a tower on private property on Neville's Road in District 6. I believe that 2 Chainz owned a home in Les Jardins and allowed the building of a tower for a significant amount of money on his property in District 4. So that does happen, but the chair recognizes District 1. Councilman Rowell.
I have a couple questions. Since the community meetings, have you had any additional conversation? And I understand that you said these negotiations go back to the school district for about 5 years, I guess.
2017. Yes,
Since 2017. Have you had any additional conversation with Fulton County Schools regarding the current tower since you applied?
I personally have not, and I don't know if Crown Castle has.
Okay. I know that was one of the things that, I heard quite a bit of conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, right? I mean, we tried to renew the lease in 2017. We talked to Bill Boyahan and David Knotts. They didn't want to talk to us. They said they won't talk to us till a year before it expires. We approached them again in 2018. They weren't ready to talk to us. The lease expired in November of 2019. So, we tried, and the lease has been expired. We're still there. We're still paying rent as long as we're there, but any day now, the Fulton County Schools can say you're gone, and we've got no backup.
So let me ask you this. So I heard you talked about 2018 and 2019. There haven't, and that's when your discussions occur. You haven't had any discussions with the school system since that time?
No, ma'am. Those are ones that I wanted to mention. I think they have had discussions since, but we have not been able to come to a deal. And I think it's one of the meetings, I think you may have been on it, but I'm not sure, where one of the school board members said, we have been talking with them recently. Now, this was before the meeting. Your question before was after the meeting.
Okay.
Before the meeting, we'd been talking to them, but they're on 2 different levels here. I mean, it's about what we got to pay and what we receive. We're on other school properties, Westlake High School, and I think we're on 3 or 4 others. Crown Castle is, but for this property, it didn't work out with the school board.
Okay, so you're saying there haven't been any since the community meetings, but you've had some recently.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Over the years, since 2019, absolutely.
Okay. I guess, I will say, I know we got quite a few comments from the community. I think in your one community meeting, it was about 73 people on that call. When I looked down, it was quite a few people.
We had an in-person meeting, 3 showed up. We did the CZIM, 1 person spoke.
The virtual meeting, I'm talking about the virtual meeting. That's the one.
And then there was the virtual meeting, then that was the HOA, which we weren't even required to be there, but Ms. Davis called and I said, absolutely, I'd be there. So I made the presentation again at the HOA meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So we did 3 community meetings and 2 HOA meetings. I was on the other night. I can't remember if you were able to make that one or not.
Okay.
We've tried to explain what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it. This is simply to maintain cell coverage. I mean, this is not, anything that's different than what we're trying to do in other cities, right? We do this all over Metro Atlanta.
And just one follow-up question. For the coverage area, had you spoke to any other property owners in that area to see if you could have coverage?
So, good question. So we have to be very close to where we are, right? Because by moving it too far, that changes their whole network in that area. So we were very limited. We did reach out to others. This landowner called back. They were interested after we couldn't talk to the city, right? So this landowner was interested. So we look for 4 things. It's in the area we need to get the coverage. We have a willing landowner. We can construct on that property, like there's no ravines or cliffs or anything, and then we meet the ordinance. And here, we meet all the provisions for a cell tower on R3.
Okay, and just one more question. What do you mean when you said you weren't able to talk to the city?
To the school board, once we couldn't come to a deal with the school board.
Okay, you said city, so I just...
I'm sorry, school board, my apologies.
Okay, I don't have any additional questions.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes District 3 Councilwoman Willis.
I'm not going to belabor this. It's real simple. So if this isn't allowed, you're saying that area will lose coverage, or a large area?
If that tower comes down, yes, there will be no coverage for T-Mobile, and there won't be an opportunity for AT&T and Verizon to put coverage there.
All right, and you're speaking on behalf of T-Mobile?
Crown Castle.
Crown Castle, and you represent T-Mobile?
I represent Crown Castle.
Crown Castle. But the people who are being impacted would be T-Mobile?
T-Mobile is the current tenant on the current tower, and they will be a tenant on the new tower if it's built.
Okay. Okay, well, how many people are we talking about?
How many T-Mobile customers within 2 miles of that area? I don't know the number, but I would imagine it's in the thousands.
Okay.
And including the travelers and the people going to businesses and schools that don't live there in that area.
All right. I appreciate it. Ms. Subadan, can you call Verizon and see if they can work this out?
All right, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Pritchett.
I have a question for Mr. McClendon. Is he around? Mr. McClendon, are these cell towers, are they subject to franchise fees?
No, they are not. They're not on public property. We only collect franchise fees from utilities that are located in the public right-of-way.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you all for your questions. Where's Yusuf? Would you raise your hand? This is my chief of staff, Yusuf. By the way, you all, tomorrow's Yusuf's birthday, so make sure you tell him happy birthday. Yes. But he has my copy of this proposal, so if anybody's interested in looking at it, if you just visit that back desk. And for those people who are listening tonight who either left because it's 9:30 or we pushed this back several times, we will vote on this April 23rd at Southwest Arts Center, 915 New Hope Road, 30331. There will be public comment and before we vote on anything in the meeting. And if you want to come and make your comments, we want to make sure that everyone is heard. So I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you so much. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Last item on tonight's agenda is alcohol license case. Alcohol license application for Welcome Mall Food Mart Incorporated, doing business as Welcome Mall Food Mart, located at 5245 Welcome Mall Road, South Fulton, Georgia, 30349. They're requesting an alcohol license for the retail sale of beer and wine beverages. It's located in District 3. Staff.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager. The application for Welcome Mall Food Mart, Inc., doing business as Welcome Mall Food Mart, located at 5245 Welcome Mall Road, has met all the legal requirements to obtain a new alcohol license at this location. There was previously an alcohol license held at this location. The applicant is currently operating on a temporary alcohol beverage license. A public safety plan was submitted and approved, and staff recommendation is for approval. And the applicant is present.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing. You all know how this goes. You have 10 minutes. Just state your name and your address. You don't have to use all the 10 minutes. You want to share that with anyone who's speaking in support and reserve some balance of your time for rebuttal if necessary.
I couldn't use 10 minutes if I had to. I'm Dana Farkas. I'm not an attorney. I'm a licensing consultant. My address is 245 Sequoia Drive, Alpharetta, Georgia, 30004. And I'm here with my client who is happy to answer questions. I'm sorry, I'm so tired I can't even think of a statement to give you, except he's very experienced and the store's had alcohol and we've not had any problems.
Good evening. My name is Shriek, 5245 Welcome Mall Road, and I'm here for an alcohol license application.
All right. Well, thank you. Is there anyone in opposition? You have 9 minutes and 17 seconds as the balance of your time for rebuttal if you needed.
We did not receive any comments in opposition or support.
There's none, no comments in opposition. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and open this up for questions. As always, we will go with the district representative. First, Councilwoman Helen Zenobia Willis.
I don't have any questions or concerns. This is just a change of ownership. So they currently already serve beer and wine. Sell beer and wine. So it's not anything new to the residents or to the community.
All right. Are you in the queue? All right. I'm going to clear that out then. All right. Seeing and hearing no further questions, I'm going to entertain. Well, we have this executive session, but I'm actually going to ask a couple things. We are now about 2 hours behind schedule for the published agenda, 3 hours behind our regularly scheduled start time. We still have executive session and a whole council meeting to do. So I'm going to try again to keep us moving forward. I am going to ask if we can open, I'm going to go ahead and open the regular meeting, and I'm going to invite my colleagues to, after I entertain this motion to adjourn, this is what I'm going to ask. This is my proposal. I'm inviting you to consider this. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We will open the next meeting. I'm going to invite you to consider starting with public proclamations. There are dozens of people who've been waiting outside since 8 o'clock. We could then go into an executive session for only items that are exigent that we may need to make decisions about on this agenda. I would also ask for council to consider amending the agenda to forego the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance, our comments, and if there's anything that we can pull, I am willing to pull my traffic calming amendment, which I've been working on for 3 years, but we can wait one more month if there's any discussion. So if people could just look at the agenda and consider what is absolutely necessary to be decided tonight.
Mayor.
And with that, The chair will recognize Councilwoman Willis.
The first thing that I appreciate you doing what we can to expedite. We have over 200 people who have been waiting 2 hours to recognize individuals that are going to be honored tonight. So let's be respectful of our guests and let's do the proclamations first. And then we need to do the proclamations first because there's over 200 people waiting and some of them are children. So
that's what I said.
Okay, and then next, I will not forego the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. I can't do that, but we could put the executive session later, and then get through as much of the agenda as possible, and then I'll forego the comments from the council. I'll wait on that.
Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is, if it's okay, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn. We're going to start the meeting. We'll do the proclamations and we'll figure out everything else. I want you all to just be thinking about that, and we'll have a conversation about what the agenda order will be after the proclamations. If that is okay, I see a hand still raised. The chair recognizes Councilman Williams-Brown.
I move to adjourn the whatever we just did for the
zoning hearing.
Zoning hearing.
Yes,
Second.
the zoning hearing.
It's been probably moved and seconded. I'll take that vote by show of hands.
Record that motion approved unanimously. We are adjourned at 9:54 p.m.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call to order this. I'm going to call to order this regular meeting. Can we just do a roll call by show of hands? Is everyone here? Okay, everyone is here.
Okay.
Is that fine, Mr. Clerk?
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I record that you do have a quorum present for the meeting.
All
Hello.
right. I will entertain a motion to amend the agenda to start this with the proclamations.
I move to amend the agenda to start with proclamation.
Okay, it's properly moved and seconded.
We need people to
Any
go
discussion? No? All right, let's take this vote by show of hands. All right, with all proclamations present, all folks, come on in. Come on in the room.
I got a headache that's so bad. I got a headache that's so bad. I think we should go into this. Do we have any? Are you feeling better?
Chief Deborah Williams, Pastor Pollard, Dr. French. Will you please come up? Who? Kyrus Williams, Chief Meadows. Is he still here?
Yeah, we did.
It's on there, down there. You can still do it.
Sheriff Patrick Labatt. Yes, we want you all to come to the center. First Lady Pollard. Okay. Can you all please come to the center? I ask you. Your family? Your brothers? Wish them up. Miss Meadows? Miss Meadows, Pete Meadows, Miss Riding, Barbara. Can the family of Chief Williams please come up? Pete Meadows is here. He was. Where is she? Thank you all for being patient. We had a long zoning hearing, but today, District 3 has decided to recognize several unsung heroes this month for public safety. And today we are recognizing Chief Deborah Williams, who and I call her an unsung hero because she's not only protecting our students at Clark Atlanta University, we're going to read the proclamation, but she is also the protector and over security at the Enon Church of Baptist Fellowship, and she does not play. She also encourages us to, be concerned about our wellness, and I need to do better by that. And she encourages, so I feel guilty every time I don't do what I'm supposed to do. And so I'm going to get on board, Chief Williams. We have several of her colleagues that are here. We have Chief Meadows, and I'm sure he's going to, and we don't need a long story, Chief Meadows. We have Sheriff Labat. We have President of Clark Atlanta University, Dr. French. And most important, we have our spiritual leader. We are both members of Enon Church, and we have Dr. Gregory Pollard, P-O-L-L-A-R-D, present with us. So let me start. Today, the city of South Fulton, whereas Deborah A. Williams, a resident of the city of South Fulton, longtime member of Enon Church, a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, give me your time, Chief of Police, and Associate Vice President of Clark Atlanta University Department of Public Safety. And whereas, coming from Atlanta Public and Fulton County Schools in 1980, graduated from Westwood High School, which is now known as, whereas she excelled in her athletic abilities. This led to starting her career with the City of Atlanta Police Department in 1983, becoming one of the original and one of the first female officers on the Red Dog Unit before retiring as major in 2001. She then served as senior police advisor and deputy team leader responsible for providing law enforcement instructions, mentoring, and the delivery of training programs with the Narcotics Affairs section in Mexico. And in 2014, she became major with the Clayton County Public Schools Police Department. Whereas Chief Williams received an inclusive and ethical leadership certificate from the Leadership Summit of the University of South Florida. She is a 2006 graduate of the Police Executive Research Forum, Senior Management Institute for Police. She participated in the Anti-Defamation League, where she received training on intervention strategies for domestic and gender-based violence in Salvador. Whereas She received the Leadership Award from the School of Education in 2018. The National Society of Leadership and Success recognized her excellence in service to students award along with the Atlanta University Center Consortium for her leadership of the Public Safety and Campus Security Council. She also received recognition as one of the nominees for Georgia Chief of the Year in 2020. She has received several commendations throughout her career, including 2009 Manager of the Year for APD, Female Officer of the Year for the state of Georgia, and finalist for Female Officer of the Year with the International Association of Women Police. Whereas Chief Williams is a member of the historically Black colleges and universities, law enforcement executives and administrators, Georgia Association Law Enforcement Administration, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, Georgia Chapter of Black Law Enforcement, Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police, and National Association of Women Enforcement Executives. She is currently serving as the HBCU LEEA President and Director at Large for International Association of Campus Law Enforcement Executive Administrators, while being married to retired Atlanta Police Major K.E. Williams. She also spends time volunteering in the church fitness ministry and mentoring females within the police industry. We all have a responsibility to help others because it took someone helping me to get me where I am today. And that is a quote from her. We have a responsibility to pay it forward, and that is the motto she lives by. Now, therefore, be it resolved in honor of Law Enforcement Appreciation Month in District 3, the City of South Fulton, the Mayor and City Council for the City of South Fulton, Georgia, of over 108,000 residents, we call this city home and celebrate the bold and visionary leadership of 40 years in public safety to hereby proclaim today, Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, as Chief Deborah A. Williams Appreciation Day, and encourage all residents to extend gratitude for her unrelenting service to mankind. And I read every bit of this because this is a male-dominated field, and she is what we aspire women. We want little girls and teenagers to aspire to get in law enforcement and thrive and represent us like she represents us.
I don't know why they give me the microphone. They know I ain't sitting down no time soon. Let me say this. I know this is about Deborah. I really do. But I have to say this because this woman right here is responsible for this. She's responsible for this. She's responsible for that. Kairos, come on up here. Eddie, she's responsible for that. Mo, she's responsible for this. We had the opportunity to come up really under some really powerful female leaders when I was growing up, coming up through black female leaders when I was coming up. And Deborah certainly benefited from that. I remember every time she turned around, she was up under Darlene Neely, who was over the academy at the time, and she had the opportunity to train and develop all of us. And so when I think about Blanche Nichols, Thaddeus Knox, Beverly Harvard, when I think about all of those women that we all had the opportunity to serve under, I'm just grateful, Deborah, that I had the opportunity to work with you for all of these years, and your husband, Kairos, we went to high school together. So we go back a long ways. And so this award here was well deserved.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity. Kairos, thank you for sharing
your wife with the Clark Atlanta University family. Chief Williams is both friend, fearless protector of the students of Clark Atlanta University. So we simply say thank you, Chief, for your service. Thank you for protecting us. And again, thank you for all of these family members who are here with us today to celebrate you. Thank you so much, Chief.
So I have the real easy part because they've said everything. I certainly want to tell you thank you, right? Thank you for your leadership, your guidance, your love. I mean, over the years, one of the first persons to call once I was elected, Chief Williams, I called Deborah, so y'all have to forgive me, stepped in and very thoughtfully said, we need to take care of my home, Clark Atlanta University, and the AU Center as a whole. But that takes vision, and that takes foresight, and so thank you for continuing to lead, and thank you for continuing to mentor people. And even the students, I don't know if there are any students here, but she has been very, very thoughtful. For the first time in the history of, certainly Clark, but certainly the AU Center, we have a Noble chapter, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives Collegiate chapter, but none of that happens without you. And so I appreciate the precedents you set, the leadership, and certainly the love that you've shown, not just my alma mater, but certainly our community as a whole. So thank you so much. I love you, and nothing you can do about it.
Your husband doesn't want to say anything, but where's your mother? Can you bring her mother? Can you all believe this? Her mother is here.
Well, I know they say most of the time when the pastor gets the mic, it's going to be a long night. However, we turn that over to the council tonight because they've done a great job at that. But however, let me say that Deborah has made many great strides in terms of what she does, and she does it with excellence, she does it with enthusiasm, and she does it with energy. She's a powerful young lady, and she's the tallest officer I know. And whenever there's an opportunity for her to serve, she always takes the mantle and run full steam ahead. And so Deb, we celebrate you tonight and thank you for always being who you are to all of us. God bless.
Yes, okay.
I don't want to. I'll hold this.
Okay. I stand here not realizing, but knowing that it didn't take me to get here by myself. When I think about everyone that's standing behind me and everyone that's standing before me, my heart is full because it took every person that's sitting in this room and standing behind me have touched a part of me during this journey. It started with my mom who raised 6 kids by herself. Thank you for being. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay, don't do it. Thank you for being that beacon, not only to me, but to my other sisters and brothers. Not only my sisters and brothers, but my nieces. She's been that person that has been the glue for my family by herself, knowing that we wouldn't be the people that we are today if it had not been for the love that you showed us when it was just us. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I can't. It's okay. And not only her, but I have 2 others back here with me. Miss Meadows, Miss Mary Vanderbilt. When it wasn't one other person, my godfather, Mr. Meadows, who's not here with us, if it wasn't for them standing in the gap when my mom wasn't able to be there, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And it's because these 3 ladies here along with Mr. Meadows, when I showed up for an event, if she wasn't there, they were my biggest cheerleaders. Mr. Meadows, who's not here with us, but he's at home, wanted to be here, but can't be here. My brothers, my sisters, my God family, I say my bonus nieces, my Gabe, Danielle, my nieces, I call them my daughters, Tay and Raven. They're the rock that keeps me going each and every day. And when I talk to people, especially officers, I tell them, remember your purpose and remember your why. This is my purpose, and this is my why. Because if it was not for them and everyone in this room, I wouldn't be standing here today. Every day I get up, you'll see the Clark Atlanta University officers with service on their patches. The reason why I changed that patch in 2018 when I got called to Clark Atlanta University, because this is who we are. I was born to serve because the mom that raised us by herself, Miss Meadows and Mr. Meadows and their family, Miss Vanderbilt and her family, they served me each and every day when I didn't know anything other than to go. And I want to give them homage tonight because I can't tell you what we went through to get here, but I can tell you by the grace of God, we made it. And because of that, because of Pastor Paula being my spiritual father and the teachings that he provides to us each and every day on Sundays and on Wednesdays has helped keep me grounded. To my best friend, my soulmate, I stopped him at 19. I stopped him in his vehicle when he was on his way to work, not realizing that we would be on this journey together, Kairos. I thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. Even when I thought I couldn't go any farther, you pushed me. When I wanted to give up, you told me to go forward. I thank you for being the man of God, but thank you for being to me who you are each and every day. I love you. In conclusion, Mayor, Councilperson Willis, the City of South Fulton Council, thank you all for allowing me to be here with my loved ones this day. I would forever be indebted to you all for this day because it took you to bring this together and recognizing me on this day. And forever, as long as I can stand here, I will forever give you your thanks for doing this, for allowing me to bring my family and friends from Westwood, my sorors of Delta Sigma Theta sorority incorporated. Thank you for allowing us to share this night together. Thank you all for staying. I know some left, but thank you all. And Mr. President, y'all don't know who this man is. He's the longest serving president. Oh, Mr. President, I know. He's the longest serving HBCU president. He came to Clark Atlanta University. That first day, we touched hands. And we have been touching hands ever since. Not realizing that God brought us together not only to make sure that we walk that campus of Clark Atlanta University together to make sure that it is a safe environment for students that look just like us to have a safe place to get their education without having to worry about their safety. Thank you for your support, because we tell the story that when he stepped on that campus, he wasn't really, I'm going to tell the story, Mr. President, if you don't mind. He didn't know me, but if you know, just like the mayors and the president, they have an opportunity to bring in their own chief. Mr. President didn't know me. He made a decision to keep me. 6 years later, we're still standing together. And thank you for your support and your belief in me, knowing that I can get the job done. Thank you.
Chief Pete Meadows, can you come up here and take a picture with your wife and sister? And the Chief of Spelman is here as well, and he is also a product of Lakeshore. Can you come up here?
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. I wish we could stay and do this all night, but we've got another few hours of meetings.
The next proclamation.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more proclamation. If the
the next proclamation will be presented to We All Value Excellence WAVE in recognition of Law Enforcement Appreciation Month.
Is that one of your? Yeah. Is that it? Okay. No, we gonna get y'all waited this long. We're gonna get everybody. Who else you want to come on? Come on. Okay. Okay, everybody. This is a familiar face to many. Mr. Robeson, Lieutenant Robeson, and Jason Cade. These individuals represent a police organization that has done a multitude of projects in our city, but not only in our city, but throughout Metro Atlanta. And we truly appreciate their service, their volunteerism. I'm going to read the entire proclamation so that you can know what they're all about. But what I really love about this organization is their ultimate goal is to not only save our youth, but to make sure that they're establishing trust between law enforcement and the community. They do jail tours, but they also come out in our community and participate with Easter egg hunt, give backs. They also address food insecurity. They also mentor our youth, men and girls. And they also make sure that our kids are prepared and give school supplies back every year to our students, not only in South Fulton, but through Metro Atlanta. They also make sure our kids have great Christmas gifts for individuals who, and so I just want to tell you all, thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me, the city of South Fulton, the kids in South Fulton, and the kids through Metro Atlanta. I apologize this took so long, but you know, government, it takes a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and read this. Whereas 2 police officers, Jason Cade and Brandon Robertson, have taken the initiative to become founders of We All Value Excellence, WAVE, in 2016. The nonprofit organization mission is to bridge the gap between young adults and public service agencies through community outreach. Partnerships, resources, volunteer work, mentorship, education, career development, workshops, life skills, development, training, empowering at-risk youth to succeed economically, socially, and academically. And whereas We All Value Excellence Young Adult and Advancement Program is designed to grow and prune individuals' emotional, psychological health needs through mentorship, WAVE goal is to change challenging behavior patterns into positive decisions while impacting individual stories so that we can forever change their narrative. And whereas WAVE has partnered with multiple community outreach activities in disadvantaged communities throughout South Fulton and Metro Atlanta, including providing 150 kids with back-to-school supplies in 2023, 250 kids for the 2024 Easter egg hunt give backs, helping address food insecurity, and providing annual Christmas giveaways, including serving 2,500 within the last year. They were a major contributor to Shaka Claus. And whereas, along with helping over 70 kids with special needs and mentoring and coaching to get from 8th to 9th grade, Jason Cade, in addition to raising his daughter, Journey, has served 15 years in law enforcement with the Fulton County Sheriff Office Department, Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority, MARTA Police, and whereas Lieutenant Brandon Robeson is with the support of his wife, Shannon, and therefore has worked 17 years with the Fulton County Sheriff's Department. And now, therefore, be it resolved, in honor of Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, the Mayor and City Council of South Fulton, Georgia, with over 108,000 residents that call this city of South Fulton home, celebrate the bold and visionary leadership in public safety to hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 9, 2024, We All Value Excellence Appreciation Day, and encourage all residents to extend gratitude for their unrelenting service to all mankind. I know this is hard.
Today's a very special day to me. I'm forever grateful to Councilwoman Helen Willis. We've been partnering with her since 2016, coming to District 3. Today's my mom's birthday. She passed away last year, and this means so much. I wish she was here today to celebrate this day with me. I want to thank all my law enforcement partners. This is a organization that's not ran by a police department, but is pretty much made up of multiple police departments here, and getting off their shifts. We don't make a lot of money, so they contribute financially, help mentor, and go above and beyond the badge. I couldn't do this without the people behind me, especially my partner, Brandon, who got me into this career of law enforcement when I was going to college at Georgia State. My guy, Durante, he's a defense attorney out here, so we don't just partner with other agencies. We got district attorney's office. We have multiple defense attorneys and law firms, and I'm just thankful for this opportunity to be recognized, this organization to be recognized by this amazing councilwoman that campaigns so hard for this district and gets us out here every chance that she can. I want to turn it over to my guy, Brandon.
All right. I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Willis, for this. We want to thank everybody in the city of South Fulton for allowing us to serve. We want to say thank you to all our volunteers, everybody that we can call on and count on, Durante, all the law firms that help support us, all the law enforcement officers that volunteer their time and their monies and any efforts they put to serve in the city of South Fulton. Man, we want to just say thank you and thank everybody up here for allowing us to receive this award. Thank you.
I was going to just thank Chief Meadows for partnering with us first time this year, and hopefully this will be a partnership that we could do every year that I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had an opportunity to see this young man in action at one of the Easter egg hunts, and Sheriff Labatt often calls me the body snatcher, so I'm always trying to steal his people. So I told him, I said, listen, we got a spot for you over here, but you're a very impressive young man, and I really enjoyed watching you work at that last Easter egg hunt. So congratulations to you and your group.
And I'm going to throw in this plug. I know he's watching virtually. He had homework tonight. Who trained you all?
Vincent Willis, your husband.
Let me get this proclamation.
gotta get some food in us.
My feet hurt. And then I got to drive to Brownsville.
Oh, you going to Brownsville? Oh, that should be fun.
What's fun about going in the mountains by yourself?
All right, I will,
What is it, Chateau?
whatever the council's pleasure is on how to move forward with the agenda.
I move, Mr. Mayor, can we have the invocation and pledge of allegiance and then executive session?
What is it?
We have a motion for the invocation, pledge of allegiance, and then executive session.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Let's take that vote by show of hands. All right. That passed?
Yeah, the motion was approved unanimously.
All right, please sound the next item.
Clerk Adams, did we have two?
Just two. Oh. Next item is invocation. Be provided by Chaplain McKee.
Council, and I won't take but 2 minutes, I promise. But I do want to go before the Lord. Hallelujah. Lord, we thank you for this evening. It might be late, but Lord, draw our minds back into our business. And Lord, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for each and every day. And Lord, as we go through our trials and tribulations, Lord, give us the patience and the understanding. Most of all, give us wisdom to deal with all our differences, all our disagreements. Give us patience to understand one another. In all our doing, Lord, let us get an understanding of what you want us to do. Now, Lord, we ask you to continue to protect our city, our police officers, our first responders. As we go out in the fields, God, look over us. Keep us safe from all hurt, harm, and danger. And we will always give you the praise. We will always give you the glory. For it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session.
For what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Personnel, legal, real estate, and cybersecurity.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? I'll just ask that we just keep this to the pertinent topics that are exigent for tonight. All right, I'll take this vote by show of hands.
Record that motion approved unanimously. We are recessed at 10:37 p.m.
Not recess.
Recess.
I didn't realize
electric vehicles.
All right, I want to thank everyone who's stayed up with us here for the late show at South Fulton. Mr. Clerk, I'm sorry, let me entertain a motion to adjourn executive session and reconvene.
I move to adjourn executive session.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes.
The chair recognizes Councilwoman Willis. I'm sorry, Raul. It's late.
It's very late. You made me lose my doggone train of thought on that. I ain't gonna lie. What we voting on? Adjourn the executive session.
Yes.
Okay, so we can vote on that, I guess.
All right. But actually, before that, was there any items that we needed to, for which we needed to take action?
Yeah, there were no actions taken in executive session that requires a public vote.
All right. I'll entertain this vote.
Record that motion approved 4-0. We reconvene at 11:23 p.m.
All right. Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
That brings us to the approval of City Council meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes from March 26, 2024, and work session meeting minutes from March 26, 2024.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March the 26th, 2024, and March 26, 2004, the work session and regular council meeting.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, everyone make sure to go over to the next meeting in the queue. I'll entertain this vote by a show of hands.
Record that motion approved unanimously, 6-0.
All right, Mr. Clerk, please sound the next item.
Brings us to adoption of the council agenda. And there are several items that several council members wish to add to the agenda. We have a city event submitted by Councilmember Williams Brown for June 6th at Crestwood. Is it the
It's a endometrial cancer awareness event for Endometrial Cancer Month.
Yes, for June 6th. You also have a resolution that is before you that was handed out. It's a resolution recognizing and proclaiming April 1st through April 30th as National Autism Awareness Month. This is sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem J.C. Sebastian. You also have discussion that was added earlier today by Councilmember Willis regarding Raven, South Carolina Gamecocks. Have a discussion about that. And I believe that the city manager has a few items, some corrections she wishes to make.
I need to add a town hall meeting, co-sponsored by Councilmember Gums and I, to be determined in May, so that when we determine a date, we could go ahead and advertise it.
Can I go ahead?
Oh, yeah.
Item 10, we have been able to acquire an additional vehicle from Wade Ford, so I'd like to increase that purchase order to $205,000. And the item 11 was understated. It was actually a not to exceed of $60,000.
What was the first one? What number?
205,
10 increased to 205, and the ability to get an additional vehicle. And we were able to find another under item number 11 with a not to exceed of 60,000.
Okay.
This is the beginning of our electric vehicle fleet, and some of this will be grant funded. That's it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the council agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll take that vote by a show of hands.
Show that motion approved unanimously, 6-0.
All right, please sound the next item.
That brings us to public comment. And for the third meeting, we do not have any public comment for tonight's meeting.
All right, please sound the next item.
Next item is council comments.
I'll go in order, and if everyone wants to forego their comments, they can. District 1,
I forgo my comments.
District 2, District 3.
I move that we skip city council comments. That's a motion I'm making from the floor, so we can save time.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll take that vote by show of hands.
Record that motion approved 6-0.
All right. Please sound the next item.
Next item is consent agenda. Items 4, 5, 6, and 7.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as sounded.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right. Seeing and hearing none, I'll take this vote by show of hands.
Record that vote approved unanimously.
All right. Please sound the next item.
Brings us to agenda items. The first one is item 8 under procurement and contracts. General Service Department requests council approval of the lease for office space for CHMC-ONH1 LLC for a total not exceeding $436,076.41, and the option to renew for 2 one-year terms. The lease will become effective upon execution.
I move that we approve the item as sounded as well as.
Microphone.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I move that we approve the item as sounded, as well as item number 9. General Services Department requests council approval for a lease for lighting services with Georgia Power, project number LP92804 for a total not exceeding $827.20 per month, and an option to renew monthly, as well as the General Services Department, item number 10, General Service Department requests council approval for contract for electric vehicle purchases with Wade Ford, contract number 999999 SPD ES 40199373009S for a not to exceed amount $205,000. The scope of services for contract SPD ES 993730009S is for purchasing 3 Ford Mustang Mark E electrical vehicles. Upon council approval, staff will process purchase for an order $150,000, as well as the general. 200. No. Okay, we changed that one too.
Yes.
205,000. As well as the General Services Department requests council approval of a contract to purchase an electric vehicle with Hardy Chevrolet Buick GMC Incorporated, contract 99999 SPD ES 41993730005, not to exceed amount of $60,000. The scope of services for contract SPD ES 41993730005 to purchase a Ford Mustang Mark E electrical vehicle. Upon council approval, staff to process purchase order for $60,000. As well as, withdraw your second, please. As well as 12. Item number 12, second read for request council approval of an ordinance creating a traffic calming policy as Appendix H to Code of Ordinance enhancing residential safety, sponsored by Mayor Khalid, and as well as number 13, request for council approval of ordinance to amend sections 1-10004 operational guidelines of the Title I administration, Chapter 10 to fund balance amendment financial policies, as well as item number 14, Public Works eminent domain request for council approval, a resolution to authorize the unit of eminent domain to acquire real property interest necessary to complete the sidewalk project for Old National Highway, Project T 265, Parcel 31, to authorize the city of South Fulton, Georgia to condemn said property interest where necessary, fair market value established at $6,200, District 6, as well as item number 15, request for approval of requests. Council approval of a resolution to authorize the use of eminent domain to acquire real property interest necessary to complete the Old Fairburn at Union Road intersection improvements OSI 613 parcel 11 to authorize the city of South Fulton, Georgia to condemn said property interest where necessary, fair market value established at $1,600, and that's for District 3.
You want to go ahead and throw in the
Second.
special events?
Yes. As well as, can you withdraw the second?
Withdraw.
As well as the special events as sounded by the clerk.
Second, and a question.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Rao.
A request a friendly amendment to add the resolution recognizing and proclaiming April National Autism Month, sponsored by.
Can you not, please?
Really?
He wants to make it. Can you not?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Okay,
All right,
let's
the
go.
chair recognizes Councilwoman Williams Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Subanan, I'm sure you told us, and the synapses are not firing this time of night. Who are the electric cars for?
This is the entrée to our electric fleet. Is my mic on? Yes, we are, earlier in the month, last month, we brought the electric fleet program to you, the electric vehicle program to you to include a big grant that we have applied for as part of a consortium. In this year's budget, we allocated some funding for electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging stations. The charging stations were approved in the last meeting. But to answer your question directly, 4 of the vehicles will be going to CDRA for our business license inspectors. 3 will go to business license inspectors, and 1 will be in the pool, and 1 is for Mayor Khalid.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Gomes.
So my question is in regards to the traffic calming policy. I know that we had some discussion on that. Has there been any updates, if someone can share in regards to the concerns of being notified by the homeowners?
Yes, we incorporated a provision to notify homeowners first, and if they don't respond within 20 days, then we would move on to the resident who may be a tenant. We also clarified that it really didn't matter whether the property was in a HOA or not. What we were looking for is 50 plus 1 individuals on that street. Obviously, we would work with HOAs if an HOA community existed, but we would still require 50 plus 1 on the street where the traffic calming was being installed.
Okay.
So we added those things based on the conversation at the last council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And there will be some cleanup of the resolution. As we went through it, we noticed there was some legacy language in there from before. So we will be doing some cleanup of that language.
Discussion.
The chair recognizes Councilwoman Willis.
Are you doing the queue?
I mean, I'm not in the queue. That's why I said discussion, so it don't matter. I mean, if you want to go, you can go. I'm not in the queue.
Okay, Rao.
So just for clarity, as it relates to the traffic calming in particular, one of the things that I have requested is for us to get a list of the petitions that were submitted over the last couple of years and how many would meet the criteria. I know I have a couple communities just trying to get clarification and what that, I don't know if traffic where they are, just give it back to us so we know we can communicate to those HOAs who may have petitioned to let them know if they meet the threshold under the new criteria.
The new criteria, yes. We will be going back to the list.
Councilman Willis.
Thank you. I just need us to. I'm constantly getting questions about traffic calming at least once a week, and I'm sending them to you all. So we need to revisit the ones that have been turned down because they now may meet the threshold now that we have lowered it. And then we just need some clear written communications on the process. And who they they should contact to initiate. Can they initiate it? Are we going to put a process where they can initiate it online versus having to actually talk to someone?
Yeah, all those things.
Okay.
And so the one thing I will say is this does not become effective tomorrow. We need at least, ideally 90 days. We'll get it done in less time than that. But what we really need to do is go through all of the applications that have been submitted. We will definitely keep you in the loop. The other thing, I did a lot of research in other cities. Their process is just extremely simple. And they put it in plain speak, and they put it on their website. You can click a link, and it takes you to their petition or their application. So we need to do all those things. Ours is very cumbersome and hard for people to understand. We're going to streamline it. And so the one message I would say is we just need some time to clean up the old records, make sure that anybody who would be now eligible is notified that they're eligible. And we need to produce for the community a simplified understanding of how this works, to include who they contact.
Okay.
I got it. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. I will take this vote by show of hands.
Record that motion approved unanimously, 7-0.
All right. Please sound the final item.
Actually got two items. First item is a resolution recognizing and proclaiming April 1st through April 30th as National Autism Awareness Month, sponsored by Mayor Pro Tem J.C. Sebastian.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to take this time not only to introduce this resolution, but also to remind folks that this coming Saturday is the third annual Autism Sensory Festival at Wilkinson Mill Park, starting at 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. And so I just wanted to remind and put it on the record for those that might be listening out, seeing this recording, that haven't seen any of the promotions already. And with that, I make a motion to introduce this resolution recognizing April as Autism Awareness Month in the city of South Fulton.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All right. Seeing and hearing none, I'll take that vote by show of hands.
Record that motion approved unanimously, 7-0.
All right. Please sound the last item.
Last item is a discussion item. It's discussion regarding recognition for Raven Johnson, Westlake graduate and South Carolina Gamecocks national champion.
I'm going to make this real quick. The athletic director called me on behalf of her parents, really before she won the game, before South Carolina won the game, wanting to know if I would sponsor a proclamation for Raven. She would not be home until May. She's in school. And I told him I would do it even if they didn't win, because we're so proud of her as the city of South Fulton for the accomplishments that she has made and how she represented us. And so what he did mention to me is that Westlake is probably going to do a ceremony to retire her jersey. And so I think that we should just do a unified effort with them. But I want to get permission to sponsor like a food reception, And I know we're going to be doing mid-year budget, so I would say, taking recommendations from the council, that we try to, that we sponsor maybe up to what? How much did it cost for you all to do 300 people at Eden Ranch, the caterer? That's like $4,000.
So,
More than that.
Say not to exceed 5 then.
And not to exceed $5,000 for contribution towards her celebration and honoring of the city of South Fulton. Because I don't want, I mean, we get proclamations all the time, but this young lady has put South Fulton on the map, and I think we should celebrate her and commemorate her, and just let everybody know that we have good stock here in South Fulton. And I would like to see our city put something out on our Facebook page or social media outlets commemorating her, because I see the city of Atlanta has already done it. And, you know, I'm cool with a city too busy to hate, but we are a city on a rise. And we need to toot our own horn. She belongs to the city of South Fulton and is a product of the city of South Fulton. So my motion is that we approve up to $5,000 and collaborate up to $5,000 for a celebration for Ms. Raven Johnson, and I will keep the entire council. I'll work with the city manager and communications director to keep and our clerk to keep the entire council updated on when we are going to commemorate her and celebrate her, and definitely would like to make this a unified effort, not just one individual, but a unified effort, because we are all proud of her. So that is my motion.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll take that vote by show of hands.
Record that motion approved unanimously, 7-0.
All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. I'll take this vote by show of hands.
Thank you. I record that motion approved unanimously. We are adjourned at 11:45 p.m.